Our headlines today. A major incident has been declared along parts of the south coast of England and the Channel Islands. The storm Ciarán brings heavy rain and expected winds of up to 90 miles an hour.
Good morning. There's just been a gust of wind at Jersey Airport of 93 miles an hour. Across the English Channel coastline, we're looking at some damaging wind speeds and also some torrential rain, so disruption is quite likely.
The first British nationals have left Gaza since the Israel-Hamas war began. It's expected more people will be allowed through the Rafah crossing later today.
A dad who lost his partner and 2 children as the result of an e-bike fire calls for better regulation of the batteries used.
No one had ever told me that these things can overheat and explode. No one ever told me about the lithium batteries give off an absolute toxic gas if they go up, and when they do go up, they're like a bomb.
Good morning. Has the cost of borrowing peaked? We'll have a better idea today when the Bank of England gives its latest decision on interest rates. Whatever the outcome, though, first-time buyers are still feeling the pressure.
Now, the former chief executive of NHS England, Simon Stevens, will be the latest to give evidence to the COVID inquiry later. Follows comments yesterday from the UK's second most senior civil servant, Helen McNamara, who told the hearing she would struggle to pick a day when COVID rules were followed properly in Downing Street. Mr McNamara also said a sexist and macho culture meant women's perspectives were missed in decision-making during the pandemic. A woman suspected of serving a beef Wellington containing poisonous mushrooms, which killed 3 people, has been arrested. Erin Patterson has always maintained her innocence over the incident at her home in Australia in July. She left 3 members of her ex-husband's family dead. The 14-year-old said she'd bought the ingredients at a supermarket. And the Royal Mint has begun producing a new set of coins inspired by Britain's natural habitat. Designs will feature British bees, a puffin and Atlantic salmon, and they're expected to enter circulation at the end of this month.
A painting of the pop star Harry Styles by David Hockney has gone on display at the National Portrait Gallery as part of an exhibition dedicated to the artist.
Drawing from Life reopens later today after being postponed due to the pandemic. Features more than 30 new portraits by Hockney, which are on show for the first time.
It's the famous cardigan.
Let's now look at some other stories making news for you. And the Met Office is warning of travel disruption, damage to buildings and possible risk to life as Storm Ciarán bears down on the UK. Damaging winds are forecast in southern England and gusts of up to 95 miles an hour are predicted to batter the Channel Islands. The severe weather warnings are in place until Friday. A Metropolitan Police commander has lost his job after a disciplinary panel found that he'd refused to provide a sample for a drugs test when he was accused of smoking cannabis. Julian Bennett, who served in the force from 1976, was cleared of using the drug in 2019, but was found to have committed gross misconduct by failing to provide the sample. An inquest has heard that Sir Bobby Charlton died after an accidental fall at a care home. The England and Manchester United footballing legend died aged 86 in Macclesfield General Hospital last month. An inquest heard he was living in the Willows in Knutford.
Today is the annual Poppy Day, where volunteers, celebrities and armed forces personnel hand out poppies and collect donations at train and tube stations across the capital. This was the scene last year. And available for the first time this year is a new poppy which is entirely plastic-free. Funds raised for the Royal British Legion will go towards supporting veterans and their families.
A look at the papers for you on Thursday morning. So many of today's papers focusing on the opening of the Rafah crossing. In southern Gaza, Daily Telegraph says that Israel is vetting all foreign nationals leaving the Strip for links to terrorism.
The Times reports that some diplomats have suggested that up to 7,500 people could be allowed out of Gaza in the coming weeks. Well, The Guardian focuses on a study which suggests that the pandemic caused sustained harm to the brain health of over 50s, regardless of whether they caught COVID or not. The study says that lifestyle changes and lockdown conditions led to an acceleration in cognitive decline.
Let's have a look at the Metro, devoting its front page. The world's first artificial intelligence summit being held at Bletchley Park. The paper quotes King Charles' opening speech, in which the monarch said AI has the potential to completely transform life as we know it.
And an image which has been widely used in the papers today is this one of Queen Camilla feeding milk to a baby elephant. The elephant's called Mazinga. That's a big bottle, isn't it? This is during a visit to Sheldrick Wildlife Trust in Nairobi. The King and Queen are on a 4-day visit to Kenya. There was a rather lovely picture of a baby rhinoceros, which you liked as well, wasn't there?
Yes, King Charles next to a baby rhinoceros.
Can't go wrong with a baby rhino.
Yeah.
Can you?
They always seem like they're, I may be stating the obvious here, but they're miniaturised versions of the full-size thing. If you saw them in isolation, I don't think you'd know they were babies.
No.
That's my theory.
No. Actually, if you didn't have anything to measure its
Yes.
size. Yeah, I get what you mean. Not like puppies, where they've got really big
different.
paws.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now at this morning's newspapers, and The Guardian reports on the Rafah border crossing between Gaza and Egypt being opened for the first time in more than 3 weeks of war, with a photo of a boy being taken into an ambulance for treatment. The FT pictures families crowding at the gate. 400 escape from Gaza hell. That's the headline in The Eye. The Sun leads on the 32 children who've been taken hostage by Hamas, with pleas from their parents for their release. The Foreign Secretary says he will not rest until the government has done what it can to help British citizens in Gaza. That's according to The Express today. Or The Telegraph reports on the British citizens who've been unable to leave. Meanwhile, the Metro leads on King Charles, urging the world to unite to combat the risks from artificial intelligence. And that's also on the front of the Mail, with warnings from Elon Musk that he believes AI is one of the biggest threats to humanity. And the Star leads on Boris Johnson reportedly asking if COVID could be destroyed by blowing a special hairdryer up noses. And if you want to see any of those front pages again or read the stories, you can scan the QR code on your screen.